Welcome to Be a Light with Mushan podcast. I'm your host, Mushan Payeski. Over the years, through many platforms, organizations, I have met many inspirational individuals who have touched me personally and whose stories, whose journeys can be a big inspiration to many of us. And today's special guest, Eric Feinendegen, has been my mentor in Toastmasters, and I met him several years ago, and his journey is unique. I'm going to invite him to share his professional journey as a speaker and as well as an author and many other areas. So welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Mujang. Thank you so much for having me. I know we did a podcast a few years ago, and it's great to be back on your platform.
Yes, it's a circle, right?
Right? Yes.
Yeah, that was District 30 Toastmasters member spotlight. And you were one of the best,
Well, thank
definitely,
you.
who represent our community. And now, welcome back to share your light with a broader audience.
Yes,
So,
it's
since
great to
that
be here.
journey, since that podcast, since that member spotlight, I guess it's about 3 or 4 years.
Hmm.
What have you done and how have you been? Share a little bit.
Sure. Well, once again, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I think it's been about 3 or 4 years. To our audience, as you can imagine, for each one of us, a lot has definitely changed, both for good and, some challenges as well. I'll just share a couple things on the challenges side. Um, so my father, he passed away September 18th of 2023. Yeah, so that was a life shift for me. And then the very next day, my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So
Oh,
the end of 2023 was a challenging year to say the least for me. But when I look at some of those situations in my life, it what it does is it allows me to go back and to learn from those moments. And what I want to share, with you, Mushang, and the people listening to this is when life challenges us, that's when we have the moments that we learn from. Because through that, I really took a look at my life and I began to prioritize things in my life. I asked myself, what is truly important to me? And I came up with the answers, it's about family, relationships, but I got a lot of clarity over the last 3 years. And I'll talk about how that clarity has helped me both in my personal and my professional life. So life throws us a lot of curves, but I guess it's how we adjust to it and how we grow from it that really does matter.
yeah, that's true. I'm sorry for what you had to
Thank you.
go through, but as you said, through all the challenges, we gain the clarity and gain the resilience, gain the things that we care the most. So yeah,
Correct.
actually, as someone who have been in the same community for so long, I definitely know you pretty well because I have been following you closely on social media, and we met at many of the events in the community. But
Correct.
for our audience, they don't know you that well. Would you mind to briefly share about your background and your journey?
Would love to. Well, my name's Eric Feinendegen, and on a personal level, and we were talking about this before the show, I've been married, it'll be 20 years to my lovely wife, Maggie, this September. So looking forward to
Congratulations.
celebrating, 20 years and a lot more years of marriage. I had 3 children. Two are now teenagers. So you can tell I've got a little more gray hair from the last time you saw me. That's what having 2 teenagers in the house will do for you. And my youngest, Kevin, he's 11. So I have 3 in the house. And, on a personal level, I love attending their events, their sporting events. My daughter's in theater, so I love going to her recitals. and just being involved in their everyday life. And on a professional level, I run three businesses. So I'm part of
Wow.
two different financial planning businesses. One wealth management, another one focuses on insurance, 401k, and corporate benefits. And my true passion, above all, the professional speaking and training business as well. So I have a lot going on at all times.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, it keeps me busy, but fulfilled. That is for sure.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your background and your family, a big family with three kids. They must keep you busy too. And the three businesses, I can imagine
Yes.
who, like, no more people can handle all that all at once. Also, you have been so involved and so active in the community. I have seen you participated in many of the community educational sessions and hosting events, being the MCs, like the one we met last time was at the
Yes. Yeah, at
District
the
30.
last
Yeah.
conference.
So you did a lot of community work. Would you mind to share one moment or story about mentoring, about community work that is striking to you that made you want to continue to do this type of work?
Absolutely. It's interesting when, when we look at our careers, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has, they get involved, whether it's a professional setting, personal setting, to make a difference. And being on a podcast called Be a Light, I'm sure all of us want to make a difference. And, being in a mentorship role or a volunteer role definitely allows all of us to do that. I'm a Toastmaster as well, and in Toastmasters, we like to share stories. So, one of the biggest things I can share when it comes to mentoring and any type of volunteer work is, I go back to when I was in high school, believe it or not. And I'll never forget, I was a junior in high school. I was attending Carmel High School at the time, and we had to do ministry hours. So I don't know how it happened, but myself, my twin sister, and a bunch of us, of my classmates, we went down to the west side of Chicago. Was not the best area. And in our job, going down there was to play with children that were living in a shelter, for battered women. And I remember walking into that shelter, Zane, and just thinking, what kind of value can I add here? How can I connect with these kids? And what was interesting is, as soon as we all walked into that shelter, there was an instant connection because the kids knew we were there to help them, to spend time with them, and give them attention and care for them. And and this speaks to what you're doing on your podcast. When people know that we care,
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter what it is that, the specifics of what we're doing. We were there to spend time with them, to play with them, give the moms a little bit of a break. And
Uh-huh.
it was one of the best experiences that I had. It reminded me that, when we mentor, when we serve, not only are we helping the people, that we're serving, but it comes back to us as well because we're fulfilled. We become better people, and I just think it's a wonderful thing. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
you have this podcast, and that we can all share how we're mentoring and giving back.
That was beautiful experience that you had, right? Early on. I know recent years you mentor and coaching a lot of young speakers, but that was the relatively early on stage community work and made an
Correct.
impact um, on you personally. Yeah,
Correct.
I agree. Thank you so much for being a light on this podcast. This mission of spreading kindness and creating this supportive environment to share the light to others. That's very important to us. You are right. It's great to find a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, and I'll just add this, when we talk about the theme of being a light, we know that life is difficult. I shared earlier that, I had some life events that happened to me in 2023. And one thing that I know is none of us can get through life by ourselves. We don't succeed by ourselves. We all need help in different areas. And that's why I think it's so important that all of us, that if we feel a calling to volunteer, a calling to serve, a calling, to leadership, that we answer that call, that we do step forward because, you know, the world is an interesting place right now, and the world needs more people of integrity, people that are, willing to serve, to step up and help one another. And I
Yeah.
think that we can all be a light if, we follow our heart and we
Hmm.
show that kindness, we show that caring to our fellow, human being. I think we'd be a lot better off collectively.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the beautiful message. That's indeed what we want to get people to share the same type of sentiment. If we're willing to share this kindness and the knowledge, and will make the world a better place for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's one piece of information I remember you didn't share, which was so inspiring, also impressive to me in the early on when I met you, is that you are the finalist of World Public Speaking Contest. So, and not just once and twice. I would like you to actually share a little bit about that and
Sure.
what that experience brought to your life.
Sure, sure. We're saying to give some context to the listeners, I am a two-time finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking. Every year, the Toastmasters organization, they hold this worldwide contest, and it comprises of approximately 35,000 contestants from 146 countries. In 2015 and 2018, I was able to reach the finals, meaning I was top 10 in the world both those years. And talk about, needing help, right? Nobody, I don't care how good you are as a speaker, gets to that level without using a lot of coaches, mentors, and the like. But I want to go back to what I brought up earlier when it comes to clarity. And I think one of the challenges that a lot of us have when we want to be a light and we want to, achieve our goals and dreams. And, one of my dreams is to be the world champion of public speaking. So I've come close a couple of times. It's still there. But when we do get clear on it, it's it develops, I think, a desire and a passion and a a path seems to become much more clear. And I bring that up because, yes, I'm a two-time finalist, but my goals have shifted. And now, in addition to wanting to become a world champion, I also want to be an accredited speaker in Toastmasters. And here's where clarity, I think, can help all of us, because this is how it helped me. I asked myself questions that, Eric, what's most important to you? Is it winning the world championship or is it developing your career on a professional level where you can, not only, just speak within Toastmasters, but everywhere? And where can you make the greatest impact? And that was by pursuing my accredited speaker designation, which I'm currently in the process of achieving after I meet certain requirements. But when I got that clarity, Mujang, all these opportunities started to open up for me. All of a sudden, people started coming in my life asking me to speak. in a variety of different areas. Then, I was introduced to a speech coach who really helped me develop my content, develop my marketing, my outreach, work on delivery. So, I want to share this just to offer this that, when we're clear on what we want and we follow a path, great things can happen. Because my speaking business in the last 18 months has exploded. I mean, it is on fire. I mean, my book sales because of it I'm getting 100%, more sales on my book. My business is growing 150%. And that is a result of originally
Yes.
wanting to be a world champion of public speaking. And those skills have transferred and just I've become clear and different goals have surfaced. And yeah, it's been a great journey. It's been a great journey. So I guess the message is this. When we do one thing, that leads to other things because now we have the self-confidence to say, hey, we can do hard things. We can do things that originally we may not have thought we were capable of doing. Because people that know me, I didn't start out as a great speaker, right? As an influential person on stage. As a matter of fact, if you saw my very first speech in Toastmasters, you laugh at it, right? I could barely stand up and say my own name. But that's the beauty of continuing to fail forward, get around people that are better than you, have big dreams, have big goals, because when we do that, then we can really shine a light on other people. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but it's been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing
That,
journey.
that's an amazing journey for sure. Yeah. And I totally agree. Reaching that one single original goal may be the start point, but on the journey, you will discover so many treasure that you may even not notice. See what I'm doing now. This is the byproduct of my original dream of to speak on a TEDx stage,
Yes.
which I haven't reached. Because I haven't even applied to many. But because along the way, I just wanted to improve my public speaking skills, keep doing the things. And then I discovered podcast and daily vlogs and doing other type of trainings all come along the way. I'm so glad to see your journey has brought you success in your new business. And I agree. Definitely, recently I have seen your posts on social media. You were like doing all the interactive trainings and all amazing.
Yeah.
And
In musing, I want to speak to what you're talking about because I've watched your journey and how you've grown and how you've developed and how you had that TEDx goal, but it's the pursuit of that goal, which is the true prize. Because, going back to, me being a finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking, and I tell people this, it's a goal that I think everyone who wants to be, an elite communicator on stage should have because it's the person that you have to become in order to reach that stage. That's the true prize. So you're saying you being a TEDx speaker, it's the communicator, the leader, and the person that you have to grow into in order to get to that stage that is going to be the true benefit. Yes, you can be a light on that stage. You can share that big idea and inspire the world. But along the way, you develop those skills. You develop the passion, and you develop the confidence to continue to do even greater things when you step off that TEDx stage. So that's why I want to encourage. I get excited talking about it because I want to encourage everybody to, dream big dreams, have that clarity, ask yourself what it is that I really want to do in my life, and then go for it. Get around people that are have already done what you're looking to do. Get around people that are better than you. Get around people that are on fire, and then watch your own energy and your own attitude change, and you'll be unstoppable, which you are, Mujang. You are a light and you are unstoppable. It's great to watch. It is great to
Thank
watch.
you. Thank you so much. It's so encouraging and empowering to hear encouragement from professional speakers like you. And yeah, you did see me grow. Actually, I participated in one of the contests several years ago. I was so raw, and even when I was conducting the interview with you,
Yeah.
probably I appeared differently, right?
Just it's the change that people go through that you've gone through. No, that's what gets me excited. That's what gets me
Oh,
excited. And you've definitely grown without question.
thank you so much. And I also want to echo your message about the importance of being surrounded by the like-minded people, like people who have the experience, also the people who are willing to support you. And that's one thing about Toastmasters. And I have been so passionate about sharing it is because such a great platform that everyone can afford, and also everyone can step on, everyone can use that as stepping stone to reach much higher. The sky is the limit. That's what I have seen now.
Absolutely. And, I talk about this in a lot of my trainings, my keynotes, and it's in my book, which it's the power of environment. And we
Yes,
know in Toastmasters, it is such a supportive and learning environment that, we grow, by getting up there and speaking and communicating, but we grow by watching other people and
yes,
learning from other people. And we grow in our attitude and within our spirit just from that encouraging environment. And I like to encourage everyone that's listening, whether you're in Toastmasters, another organization, get around people that shine that positive light. We are constantly giving off and absorbing energy, and life's too short to be around negative, toxic people. It's just
yes,
that simple. So,
yes,
I always like to search out people that, have great attitudes, that are on fire, doing their thing, that are passionate, because we will absorb that passion from them, and then we become passionate. We become more encouraged. So
yeah.
I think it's great. There's a podcast like this that we can all encourage one another, and yeah, just being an environment of growth.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I already feel the energy from you, the passion from you, the light from you, the wisdom from you. Oh, yeah, I love this. And I'm really proud of this podcast. By the way, audience, if you haven't followed my podcast, I need your support. Please follow this podcast. I did see many people viewed my podcast, listened. They even privately shared their comments, their feedback, very positive, but many of them didn't subscribe or follow. So audience, please subscribe, share, and like. And like Eric shared, we needed to support each other. And the messages we needed to spread to broader audience to create this positive ripple effect. And now coming back to another question you mentioned about the book. I know the book is kind of the result of your world public speaker championship journey. Is it? Would you like to share a little bit about your book?
Sure, sure, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. Never miss an opportunity to promote my book. It's called The
Yeah.
Finer Things, a 52-week guide to living an inspired life. And a lot of people, Mujang, they ask me, Eric, why did you write the book? And I wrote it for a couple of reasons. Well, first, because I feel that the world needs it. We all need encouraging, messages, and we all need strategies in order to stay passionate and inspired. But the biggest reason is because, growing up, like a lot of people, I had somewhat of a dysfunctional childhood. My mother was a former nun, And my father had a severe mental illness. He was a paranoid schizophrenic. So
Oh,
I had a lot of confusion growing up, right? I didn't have that strong male role model. And I turned to, the greats in the personal development movement to kind of provide me a structure and strategies on how I could find my way in and succeed in life. And the book is a culmination of a lot of those strategies that have helped me and helped many people, but also some of the things that I've been able to develop over time, that has helped me achieve, certain levels of success. And I want to be a light, Mujang. I want to share those strategies to lighten the load for people, um,
mhm.
to keep that passion burning. And the entire premise of the book is this. It comes down to one word, that to live an inspired life, it's about growth.
Yes,
Because when we're growing, then we're shining. When we're
yes,
growing, we have belief. And growth can happen in all areas, physically, mentally, spiritually, relationally, financially. When we're growing, developing, that's when we stay inspired. Because here's the challenge that I see, that people, they have desire early, right? I'm going to go out, I'm going to lose this much weight, or I'm going to make this much money, or I'm going to start a business, whatever it is, right? We all have that, but then passion can fade,
mhm.
right? And when desire fades, that's when we need the disciplines. And the book is it's 52 disciplines that we can follow to keep that desire burning, white hot. Because again, the desire will fade. I don't care who you are. But when you
Yes.
get the disciplines and then you feel the growth, and that's why I've been in Toastmasters 21 years. People ask me, Mujing, how come you're still doing that? Because I grow every week.
Yes.
I speak every week in Toastmasters and I can feel myself changing and shifting and becoming more confident in just developing as a person, as a leader, as a communicator. And when we feel that, like I call growth, it's the best legal drug out there. Growth is a drug. So anyway, so that's another long answer to why I wrote the book, um, because it allows people to keep that desire, white hot in the forefront of people's lives, and it shares the disciplines on how to do that.
Wow, I love what you shared, growth from your book. I resonated so much. The reason I feel like I'm doing well and feel energetic every day, encouraged, motivated, is because I see the growth in myself. And I
Yes.
see the people around me, because of my support, have the growth in them. I totally agree. It's not the destiny you reached that set you to do better. It's the journey on the way that you see the growth, see the progress because of the discipline, and you gain the trust in yourself. You gain the confidence that you have been wanting. Is through the journey, through the growth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I just want to add, when life gets hard, and it will, and it
yes,
does all
it
the time,
does. Yeah,
what that signals is I'm about to grow because you only gain strength through the struggle. And life, you can look at life as it's designed to force us to grow. You can look at it as, if you're trying to grow a muscle, if you're trying to grow that muscle, you have to struggle through lifting weights to grow a muscle. The struggle is required. And
yes,
when we go through life and we face those struggles and those challenges, I want people to understand that is a signal that you are about to grow. That
yes,
that we have our seasons, right? We have our seasons of success, we have our seasons of struggle. The seasons of struggle, that's planting seeds of future growth. And so I just want people to remember that when you get through that season, that's when you reap that harvest. But the struggle and the growth is required in
Yeah.
all things.
Yes. Yeah. Once we have this realization, we enjoy the struggle a little bit more, right?
Well,
Not a
sure.
big joy.
Some
That,
of us actually seek it out, right?
yes. That's why like we are okay, rejection, fine. You evaluate me, you judge me, fine, right? The
Right?
more we get that, the more we become resilient and become confident.
Yeah.
I
Well,
agree. Yeah.
Eleanor Roosevelt said, she said, do one thing that scares you every day. And if we do that, that's when we build the confidence and we can do greater and greater things and be more of a light to people in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. I also want to amplify the message you shared about the importance of the persistent discipline. Uh, because recently, also like going to Toastmasters meetings every week. I mean, you and I have been doing that for years. That we see the positive impact on ourselves. And also, recently, I have been jogging every morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes my husband said, "If you are so sleepy, you don't have to do that." I needed to do that. Sometimes we choose to do something, even it's hard. It's important. And then I feel like I have this ability to have things in control, such
I-
as I'm disciplined. I'm able to do it.
Correct. I don't know if anyone's ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear,
Yes.
but it speaks to discipline and what we do daily.
Hmm.
And I like to say this, you show me your daily routine and I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
And you can do the same for me
Yeah.
because, I think people, they forget that, success is not built in a day. It is built daily. What we
Yes.
do consistently. Greatness in all things, whether it's our relationships, whether it's being healthy, being financially secure, it comes from consistency, what we're doing each and every day. That is what leads to, ultimate success. And, you and your jogging, there you go, right? Some days, listen, some days I'm sure you feel like, you don't want to get up out of bed and jog, but it's the
Yes.
days where you don't feel like doing it, going back to growth, that's where the growth really happens.
Yes. Yeah, I set that goal. Even if in the morning I'm busy, I couldn't do that. But because that's my goal and I wanted the discipline, wanted to feel this type of compound effect, I just got to do it. Habit is so important. Once I have done that, I feel like my day is set. I'm okay. I'm going to conquer the world.
Well, correct. And when you look at my speaking career, I've been speaking for 21 years, right? Professionally for the last 10 or 11 years. And when you look at that consistency of, okay, I'm speaking every week, I'm getting out there, I'm developing content, I'm rehearsing constantly. As I mentioned earlier, my business, right, over
Yeah.
the last 18 months is at a level where I never even imagined, but it's because 21 years ago, I made a decision
Yes.
to speak, to learn the craft, to fail forward, right, to get around people better than me every day, every day. And now, to your point, the compounding, it's just
Yeah.
now caught up. It's caught up to me. And
Yes.
I'm reaping the rewards now from the seeds that I planted every single day over the last 21 years. And I think that's the big miss and the mistake that people make is, a lot of people focus more on the harvest than the
Hmm.
the sowing. They focus on the reaping rather than the sowing.
Yes.
If we shifted it and focused more, okay, what seeds can I sow today? What daily habits, right, can I engage in that will get me, a better future? I think it'll be more clear for people.
Hmm.
And And I think, people will find greater levels of success because that compound effect, it
Yes.
works in everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing on that. And also, yeah, we're definitely on the same page and
Yes.
we're practicing this. So, talking about a professional speaker, you are not just a speaker, you are a marvelous MC. I have seen you on stage, and one particular one I remember you were doing like auction MC, and also most recent one was you were conducting the uh, evaluation pa
Yes.
panel, and all the MC masterful skills are so crucial to people who want to run something. Would you like to share some of that experience? Perhaps you can even demo some of your skills here.
Well, I don't think we're not gonna auction off any pens here today, Musheng. But well, I'm still working on the draw. But no, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I'm a professional speaker trainer and also professional MC. And it really goes hand in hand. What I love about MC work is you never know what's going to happen next. You're operating without a net because things happen in the crowd, behind stage, whatever it may be. A speaker goes long or something breaks. It's up to the
Yeah,
MC, right,
yes,
to handle it, to address it, make sure things are running smoothly. And it's a great adrenaline rush and it's a great challenge, but it is a lot of fun. It really is because you get to play with the crowd and do some impromptu things. So it really goes hand in hand. And of course, being on stage as much as I have been, a lot of those skills in rehearsed presentations, the vocal variety, the energy, and working with the crowd, that transfers to being an MC. But here's what I've learned about being an MC in something that people can do in their everyday life. As an
yeah,
MC, I have
yeah.
two main responsibilities. Number one, make sure that the program stays on time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this podcast, we got to stay on time.
Mm-hmm.
But number two, my job is to have the most fun in the room. Now, how cool is that? So, at our day-to-day lives, Muzhang, you, me, the people that are listening right now, I'm going to challenge you. Every
Yeah,
day, have the most fun in the room. Be the most positive person that you know, right? Shine the greatest light out of everyone in your circle. And I promise, if you can do that, you will attract people, you will attract blessings, you will attract things into your life that you've never dreamed of before. Because it's a game of attraction.
yeah.
Like attracts like. And when you're positive, enthusiastic, right? You don't want to go overboard, but when you have that positive attitude and positive mindset, it attracts blessings into one's life.
Yeah. Be on time, be positive to attract the positive reactions. That's great. And you know what? Tonight, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and you know what? Just like on stage, things are going to happen, right?
Yes.
The light bulb, you roll with it, right? You
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
laugh with it, you roll with it, you deal with it. If we don't make it a big deal, the audience won't make it a big deal. Everyone still has a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with the experience you have, is it easier to be an MC or a speaker?
Well, it depends on the audience. That's for sure. I will say this, and if you go to YouTube and you type in my name, I've got some clips out there of me in some MC situations that have been challenging, specifically, when I do a lot of auctions and charity work. And, many times I'm competing against an open bar People that have been drinking all night, loud TVs, just, in Toastmasters, we're very formal and very, polite. When you go out, into the real world, boy, people want to have their fun.
Yeah,
Sometimes they don't care if an MC has an agenda. So I would say, in terms of gathering and connecting with an audience, it's more difficult with it being an MC. When it's a more formal presentation, uh, you don't have quite the energy, let's say, in a corporate presentation, but they're much more well behaved
yeah,
because you
yeah,
don't have the alcohol flowing.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Great
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, definitely at the Toastmasters, actually, we got to learn both skills. I remember we have a particular project is to how to handle difficult audience. I remember that. We
Yes.
deliberately create some commotion and yeah, interruptions and how you handle that. I'm sure you have seen that hundreds and hundreds of times.
Oh, and there's a few times where I got to turn to the band and say, all right, I need a drum roll. I need you to start playing some music to get everyone's attention over here, because what I'm saying is not working. And that usually does the trick.
Yeah, wow, that's great. Such a fun experience you
Mhm.
had. We all value the power of storytelling. Is there one story in your life that always reflect your value and also bring you back to what you are doing?
Boy, that's a difficult question because, as you know, I've got a lot of stories I like to share, but
Yeah,
I will leave the audience with this one anecdote, and it speaks to our mindset. Stephen Covey says there's always two creations: the creation in our mind, and then the physical manifestation of our thoughts. So I want to leave your audience with this, and it's something that I share quite a bit when I speak, and it's an anecdote about there were lab scientists, and they wanted to use lab mice to see how they would react to difficult situations, like what their mindset was. Was it a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? So what they did was they took a mouse and they filled a jar of water and they dropped the mouse in the jar of water and they put it in complete darkness. And they wanted to see how the mouse would react, how long it would swim before it gave up. And so they watched the mouse, and the first mouse, it swam for 3 minutes before it gave up, allowed itself to drown. Now they saved the mouse, right? They dried it off,
yeah,
gave it a good life, right? But here's the what where it really gets crazy. Then they took a second mouse, identical, identical mouse. They same thing, put it in the exact same jar, filled the jar up with water, put it in the same dark room, pitch dark. But here's the change, Musang, and this speaks to your podcast, Be a Light. In the second scenario, they shined a light on the top of the jar, and then they watched to see how long the mouse would swim before it gave up. And because there was a light shining on top of the water, and the mouse had vision, it could see a future. And again, there was a light there. It swam not for 3 minutes, it swam for 36 hours. The
yes,
second mouse, because it had a light to swim
yes.
toward, was had 700 more times motivation than the first mouse.
Wow.
So that's why I think it's so great what you're doing here is you're promoting be a light. So when you look at that situation with the two mice, imagine the kind of relationships that you can have if you decide to shine your light with others. Imagine the productivity of the people on your teams. Imagine the business that you can do. Imagine the change that you can have in the world when we all just do the little things in life, the listening to others, understanding, mentoring others, sharing, our skills and talents and our time, but just to make the world a better place, right?
Yeah.
And I think when we become a light to others, we can help, but to grow as well. Because the more value we add, the more valuable, I should say, that we all become. So I
Yeah.
wanted to share that, and
Wow.
if I had one story to kind of, go along with your podcast, it's just be a light, be a source of motivation for other people, and great things can happen in their lives and ours as well.
Wow, your story almost brought me to tears. Like I was like imagining how the mice would react.
Correct.
Wow, I didn't know.
Because it saw a future. It had,
Yes.
and here's the key. It had that one word, hope.
Hope.
Because it saw a light, it
Yeah.
had hope, and that is what gave it life, and that's what gave it motivation and the desire to continue on. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's an unbelievable story.
That's incredible. That's incredible. It will stick with me forever.
Yeah,
It's I knew sharing this podcast, sharing hope, sharing support to others, I know it's important, but I didn't know that big difference we're
yeah,
making. And thank you so, so much for this story. I would definitely, if someone in front of our podcast, please share this just for
yes.
the story. Yeah. Wow. Erica, you just shared so much wisdom through that story. And you are definitely a master of storytelling.
A lot of
What's
practice, Mujang.
uh,
A lot of
so when we are, yeah, towards our end of our conversation, would you share, do you still have some parting words to share with our audience?
Yeah, well, first, I do want to thank you again, Mujang. I want to thank your audience for listening and giving us your time. Here's what I'd like to leave people with, and I hope it can make a difference, which is it's okay to feel fear because as we go out do things and as we try to be light and create change, we're going to get outside our comfort zone and things are going to scare us. And we're going to be fearful of embarrassing ourselves. We're going to be fearful of failure. And that's okay. But what's not okay is giving in to that fear. Because I'll leave you with one last quick story. When I was a child, I used to go to my grandmother's house and spend the summers there, and I had 22 cousins. So it was me and
Wow.
22 cousins. And my grandmother had a pool.
Mm-hmm.
And every summer, all the cousins, even the dog, would jump in the pool and have a great time, except me. I would stand on the side of the pool looking down because I had a fear of it, of water. I had a fear of the unknown. No,
Mm-hmm.
just because I'd never been it. And this happened, we were saying, for several summers until one summer I was standing looking down and one of my cousins pushed me into the pool, right? Now, I had a choice, right? Either face my fears or drown, right? Kind of like the
Yeah.
mouse. Right? The fact that we're having this podcast said, okay, I got to face my fear. And I started, swimming. But an interesting thing happened. After, several minutes of this, I got comfortable and swimming became one of my greatest passions.
Wow.
So my point to your listeners is this. Don't wait for someone to push you into the pool of life because of fear. Because I think back, I think, my goodness, if I hadn't gotten pushed in, would I still be standing on the side, letting fear control and dictate my life?
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen to anybody, especially your listeners. So my parting words are this: jump, build your wings on the way down. We've figured it out this far. You'll figure it out again. Do not let fear dictate. Take action each and every day. Be a light, and great things will happen.
Wow, thank you so much. What a powerful message you just have left to us. And it's so encouraging. And it's a very inspiring story from your childhood. And I believe many of us at some point had that fear on the edge, in or out, in or out. Maybe if we have this situation, just jump in to test the water, how it turns out. Yeah. Thank you so much, Eric. I can't thank you enough. And your energy is really contagious through the screen. And I I can't wait to see you even have bigger and bigger success along your way. And wish you great accomplishments in life and at your work and business.
Thank you, Mujane. And I look forward to watching your journey. We'll inspire one another and hopefully inspire the audience as well. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you. For our audience, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't liked, followed, and shared, please do so. And be a light and be in the light. And wish you great success. Thank you.